All right, let's dive into this whole thing about what it really means to like act like a software engineer. We're talking about like not just writing code, but like the mindset, the problem solving, like the whole 9 yards. And we've got this thing, RunLLM documentation.
Okay.
It's this AI tool. It's like basically a tech support engineer in a box.
Oh, wow.
So
it's really fascinating how RunLLM like goes beyond just giving these like canned responses. It really digs into a company's entire knowledge base.
Whoa.
Like we're talking documentation, code, even like those random notes that are just like scattered everywhere. And it delivers like really tailored answers based on all that stuff.
So it's like having an AI that like has shadowed your entire team and like absorbed all their knowledge. That's kind of intimidating.
Yeah, it is, but it's
also incredibly powerful, right?
Yeah, exactly. And what's really interesting is how RunLLM achieves this. Instead of relying on just a single large language model, it actually uses multiple LLMs.
Okay.
So you can think of it as like a team of specialists, each with their own kind of like area of expertise.
Oh, okay.
And they all collaborate to make sure that the answer is both accurate and relevant.
So it's like having like a code expert, a documentation guru, and like a debugging whiz all working together.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But what happens when they, well, get it wrong?
Yeah.
Because even the best engineers, you know,
they do.
They make mistakes.
They do. They do. That's where RunLLM's instant learning kind of comes in.
Okay.
Imagine you're debugging code with a junior engineer, right? You spot an error. You point it out to them, and they immediately learn from it.
Okay.
RunLLM does the same thing, right?
So
you can correct it in real time.
Oh, wow.
And it just instantly updates its understanding.
Okay, that's pretty cool. But we're talking about like acting like a software engineer.
Yeah.
Does RunLLM actually get its hands dirty with code?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It goes beyond just talking about code. It can actually execute code snippets within a secure container.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it can like actually run the code to see if it's...
Yeah, so it allows it to validate code just like a human engineer would to make sure it's working as expected.
Hold on. It's actually like running code?
Yeah.
I mean, that raises like some interesting security questions.
Yeah.
But maybe we can save that for later.
Yeah, definitely worth exploring.
But before we get there, there's this other feature that I think really showcases RunLLM's ability to like think like an engineer. They call it supplementary guidance.
Right.
So imagine like you're a junior engineer and you come up with like a solution, but then a senior engineer is like, hey, maybe there's a more like elegant or efficient approach here.
Yeah.
RunLLM does that too. It's like it offers best practices and alternative solutions.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's not just solving the immediate problem, but it's like teaching better practices and helping users like level up their skills.
Yeah, it's like a mentorship tool almost.
That's a pretty powerful mentorship tool if you think about it, you know?
Yeah.
And it goes even further. It follows up with users to see if the issue was actually resolved. So it's about like closing the loop.
Yeah.
Just like any good engineer would do in a real world scenario.
Right.
So we've got this AI that's like reading our code, running code, offering advice like a seasoned mentor, you know. But good software engineering isn't just about the code itself, right? It's about like documentation too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And RunLLM tackles that head on with this feature called AutoDocs. So it analyzes your existing documentation. Flags inconsistencies.
And it even suggests proactive updates as your code base changes.
So it's like having an AI documentation team constantly working behind the scenes to make sure everything is like accurate and up to date. That could be a game changer.
It could.
For keeping documentation in sync with like rapidly evolving code.
Right, and it highlights like a crucial aspect of acting like a software engineer, which is attention to detail and ensuring that like knowledge is effectively communicated and maintained. You know?
Yeah, really interesting stuff.
Yeah, it really is a game changer. And it kind of speaks to a broader point here. Like, acting like a software engineer is about so much more than just knowing syntax, right? It's about understanding the entire life cycle of software from like the initial design to like the documentation and maintenance. And
that's a great point. Yeah, it seems like RunLLM is designed to be like part of that whole life cycle. But, this whole idea of like AI acting like a software engineer, it's a bit unsettling. Huh?
Yeah.
Like, are we all going to be replaced by like AI engineers?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's natural to have those concerns, but I think it's more about like collaboration than replacement,
Okay.
So think of it like this. Even the most advanced AI still needs like direction, right?
Okay.
It needs humans to define the problems, to set the goals, and ultimately to ensure that the solutions that the AI is coming up with are ethical and aligned with human needs.
So it's less about AI taking over and more about AI like augmenting our abilities.
Yeah.
Like instead of like spending hours digging through documentation for like a specific API call, we could just be like, hey, run LLM. Give me that information and boom, it's there.
Exactly. So RunLLM can handle all those like really tedious, time-consuming tasks, right?
Yeah.
And that frees up human engineers to really focus on like the more creative, strategic aspects of software development.
So like the fun stuff.
Exactly, the fun stuff.
Okay, I'm starting to see the potential here, but if we're going to be like working alongside these AI engineers, like what kind of skills do we need to develop as humans? Is it all about like mastering the art of the prompt,
I mean, that's definitely like an emerging skill, I think, but it's just one piece of the puzzle, really. Like technical skills, I think, will always be important, but they'll need to be like paired with really strong problem-solving abilities, critical thinking, and a knack for like adaptability.
Okay, so it's about being able to think on your feet, solve complex problems, learn quickly as technology evolves, kind of like a good software engineer.
Precisely.
And let's not forget, the importance of soft skills too.
Yes.
Like, communication, collaboration, empathy, all that stuff's going to be crucial in this new landscape. Because, I mean, we still got to work with other humans, right?
Exactly,
Even with AI by our side.
Absolutely.
It's funny, we started this conversation talking about how AI can act like a software engineer.
Yeah.
But now it seems like the real question is, how can humans become even better software engineers in this like AI-powered world?
I love that. Yeah. That's a fantastic way to frame it. It's about embracing those possibilities of AI while also recognizing that it's a tool,
Okay.
And it needs human guidance to reach its full potential.
So it's a partnership, not like a takeover.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that. So we've got a good sense of like the why behind RunLLM and the broader implications for like software engineering. Yeah. But I'm curious about how does this thing actually work?
Right.
What's going on under the hood?
Yeah. That's where it gets really interesting, right?
Okay.
We talked about multiple LLMs working together, but there's more to it than that.
Okay.
RunLLM uses this technique called grounded generation to make sure that its responses are based on like factual information from the provided knowledge base.
So it's not just making stuff up.
It's not just making stuff up.
It's actually like connecting its answers to real code, documentation, other sources.
Exactly. Right. And it does this by creating what they call a knowledge graph.
Okay.
So it's like a map that connects all these different pieces of information, right?
Okay.
And it allows RunLLM to basically navigate through all that data and find the most relevant answers.
So it's not just spitting out like random bits of code,
Right. Yeah.
It's actually like understanding the relationships between different components.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So it's like having a conversation with like a senior engineer who like truly understands your code base.
Yes.
And can like offer insightful guidance based on that like deep understanding.
It's exactly right.
Wow.
Yeah. And here's where it gets even more technical.
Okay.
RunLLM can actually be customized to integrate with your specific development workflows.
Okay.
So they offer APIs for tasks like code generation, code completion, even automated testing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So like I could, for example, integrate RunLLM into like my IDE.
Yeah.
And have it like automatically generate unit tests for my code.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or you could have it analyze your code and suggest like potential optimizations or security improvements.
Oh, wow.
Like the possibilities are really vast.
This is getting pretty technical, but I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
It sounds like RunLLM isn't just like a standalone tool. Yeah. It's like a platform that can be integrated into
That's right.
the heart of like our development processes.
Absolutely. And that's, I think, a key takeaway here, right?
Okay.
As AI becomes more and more sophisticated, it's not about replacing human engineers.
Okay.
It's about finding ways to leverage AI's strengths to augment our own abilities and ultimately build better software.
So we've talked about the why, how behind RunLLM, but let's bring it back to the individual.
Okay.
What does this mean for someone who like wants to learn how to act like a software engineer in this new world?
That's a great question. I think it starts with a shift in mindset, really.
Okay.
So we need to move away from this idea that software engineering is just about writing code, right? It's about problem solving. It's about critical thinking. It's about communication. It's about collaboration.
Okay.
And it's about like being open to learning new tools and technologies like RunLLM that can help us be more effective and efficient.
So it's less about like memorizing syntax and more about developing those like core skills that make a great engineer, right? Regardless of like the specific tools or technologies.
Exactly. And it's about embracing a mindset of continuous learning, right?
Okay.
Because the tech landscape is evolving so rapidly that the skills that are in demand today might be obsolete tomorrow, right?
Very true.
So be curious, be adaptable, and never stop learning.
I love that advice.
Yeah.
Be curious, be adaptable, and never stop learning. It's simple, yet incredibly powerful.
It is, and it applies not just to software engineering, but to life in general. But let's bring it back to RunLLM here. We've talked about all the potential benefits, but like any powerful technology, there are potential downsides too.
Okay, let's dive into that.
Okay.
Like, what are some of the potential pitfalls or challenges that we need to be aware of?
Well, one concern, I think, is the potential for bias.
Okay.
As we know, AI models are trained on data.
Yeah.
And if that data is biased, then the AI's output can be biased as well.
Right.
So this could lead to like software that perpetuates existing inequalities or disadvantages certain groups of users.
That's a serious concern.
Yeah, it is.
So like, how can we mitigate that risk?
Well, it starts with being aware of that potential for bias, right? And then carefully curating the data that's used to train those AI models.
Okay.
We need to ensure that the data is as diverse and representative as possible.
Okay, and what about like the potential for over-reliance on AI tools?
Yeah.
Could this lead to like a decline in human skills?
Right.
Or a lack of like critical thinking?
That's a valid concern, yeah.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that AI tools should be used to augment our abilities, not to replace them.
Okay.
So we need to be mindful of the potential for over-reliance and ensure that we're not simply becoming like button pushers.
So it's about like finding that right balance between leveraging the power of AI and maintaining our own like critical thinking and problem solving skills.
Exactly. And it's about recognizing that AI is a tool.
Right.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. So it's up to us, the humans, to ensure that we're using it in a responsible and ethical way.
Okay, that's a powerful message.
Yeah.
It seems like we're at a pivotal moment in the evolution of software engineering, right?
Yeah, I think so.
We've got these like incredible new tools at our disposal, but it's up to us to like use them wisely and make sure they're serving humanity, not the other way around.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's it's an exciting time to be a software engineer, but it's also a time for thoughtful reflection and careful consideration of the ethical implications of our work.
This has been an incredibly insightful conversation.
It has.
We've covered so much ground.
They have.
From like the technical capabilities of RunLLM to like the broader implications of AI on the future of software development and like all these ethical considerations we can't afford to ignore.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a fascinating journey.
Yeah.
And it's clear that we're just at the beginning of this, AI revolution.
It feels that way, right?
There's so much more to explore and discover.
Well, on that note, I think we'll wrap up our deep dive for today.
Okay.
We hope you've enjoyed exploring this world of AI-powered software engineering with us.
Absolutely. And we hope that, you're feeling inspired to embrace the possibilities of AI while remembering the importance of human ingenuity and ethical responsibility.
Okay, so until next time.
Yeah.
Keep diving deep.
Keep those brains engaged.
We've spent a lot of time talking about how AI is kind of pushing the boundaries, you know, of software engineering with tools like RunLLM. But it's clear that this is just like the tip of the iceberg.
It really is. It's fascinating to see how AI is kind of forcing us to rethink what it even means to act like a software engineer anymore.
Right.
It's no longer enough to just know how to code.
Yeah, it's like we're moving from this world of coding specialists to the world of software generalists, right?
No, exactly.
Where understanding like the bigger picture and like working effectively with AI are like essential skills.
I think so. And that brings us to a crucial question for, our listeners.
Yeah.
How can you prepare for this AI-powered future?
Yeah, that's a big one that can feel like kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
Especially where we're talking about like AI that can write and understand code.
Right.
Where do you even begin?
Well, I think the first step is really just shifting your mindset.
Okay.
Embrace the idea that AI is not a threat, but a powerful tool that can augment your abilities.
So instead of like fearing AI, we should be learning how to like harness its power to become even better software engineers.
Exactly. So start by exploring the tools and platforms that are out there.
Okay.
Play around with RunLLM, see what it can do.
Yeah.
Think about how you might be able to integrate it into your own workflows.
It's like anything new.
Yeah.
The more you like experiment and familiarize yourself with it,
the
less intimidating it becomes.
Exactly. And don't limit yourself to just RunLLM.
Okay.
There's a whole ecosystem of AI-powered tools emerging.
Okay.
For tasks like code generation, debugging, testing, even project management.
It's almost like AI is creating a new set of like power tools.
I like that,
for software engineers.
Yeah, and just like any skilled craft person, a good software engineer needs to know how to use the right tool for the job.
So it's not just about learning to code anymore. It's about learning how to like leverage AI effectively to become like a more efficient and impactful engineer. But what about, those like core skills we talked about earlier, like problem solving, critical thinking, communication? Are those still important?
Absolutely.
In an AI-powered world?
They're more important than ever, I think.
Okay.
AI can help us automate tasks and provide insights, but it's still up to us humans to define the problems, make the decisions, and ensure that technology is being used ethically and responsibly.
So it's not about becoming like dependent on AI.
Right.
It's about learning to like work in partnership with it.
Exactly. Yeah. The best software engineers of the future will be those who can seamlessly integrate AI into their workflows while maintaining their own critical thinking skills and human judgment.
That raises an interesting point. Like, this whole field is evolving so rapidly.
Yeah.
How do we stay ahead of the curve?
Right.
And ensure that like our skills remain relevant?
I think it's all about embracing lifelong learning, right?
Okay.
The tech landscape is constantly shifting, so be curious.
Yeah.
Be adaptable.
Yeah.
And never stop exploring new tools and technologies.
And don't be afraid to like get your hands dirty.
Exactly. The best way to learn is by doing experiment, build things, break things, and learn from your mistakes.
Right. And don't forget, learning doesn't have to be like a solitary pursuit.
No, absolutely not.
Connect with other engineers, join online communities, attend conferences, share your knowledge.
It's about fostering that culture of continuous learning and collaboration, right?
Yeah.
Both with humans and with AI.
That's a good point. So as our listeners continue their journey, in the world of software engineering, remember this. AI is not the end goal, right?
No, it's not.
It's a tool to help us like create a better future.
Yeah.
And it's up to all of us to make sure that future is one that we can be proud of.
That's a great way to put it.
That's an inspiring thought to kind of end on here.
Yeah.
This has been a really incredible deep dive into the world of AI-powered software engineering.
It has.
I mean, we've covered so much ground.
We have.
From the technical, like, nuts and bolts to, like, the broader philosophical, ethical considerations.
It's been a pleasure exploring these topics with you.
Likewise.
And remember, the future of software engineering is being written right now. Be a part of it.
So, until next time, keep diving deep.
Keep those brains engaged.